We are live. Yes, we are live. I'm not even sure what I am doing with this. Okay, let's go ahead and we can always edit some stuff later. It's been a while since I've done anything with OBS. I don't even know what I'm doing. I think you can see me. I hope you can see me. Yeah, I think you can see me. Today we're going to look at something very special. For those of you who join us, if you guys are familiar, let's see here. Let's see. We're going to look at Magicorthodoxy. If you guys are not watching Magicorthodoxy, you should be checking him out. He's got a lot of great stuff in his video library. Uploads daily, multiple times a day. You can even join his Magicorthodoxy, his membership page for $1.99 right there. Boom. I have been a member, but I go back and forth because it depends on what I have available to me in funds. But this is what we're looking at today, the magic question. What is the question? The question is...
And free! And free!
Hold on.
And free! And free!
Silence. Ads. Okay.
My name's David.
So let's pause that for a second. Let's go back over to OBS, make sure we are all good. Look at me there with my hair all the way up through there. Very good. I think everything is good. We are streaming. Like I said, it's not something I do regularly anymore, but I think we're doing pretty good. Unless I need some light over here. I don't know if I need light or not, but live stream. Okay, so here's the live stream. Everything's set up. Everything's good. Magicorthodoxy. What are the 10 best card tricks every magician should know? So we're going to go through the 10 best that David has listed here, and we are going to see what we know. And if we don't know them, we're going to put them on the schedule to learn them so that we can up our game as a magician. Yeah. Okay, here we go.
David, boy, are there a lot of card to do some card magic. There's stage guys. All kinds of skill levels. With cards, like tear them apart and restore them. And it would be very easy and frustrating to look at the amount of work that's out there in this. And you're like, where do I start? Most foundational card magic tricks that you could say, you know what? Out of all the tricks out there, every card magician should know these 10.
There it is. Boom.
What would they be? I scoured the internet. I did the research, I talked to the people, I took notes, and from what I can tell, okay, this is just my opinion, right? Just my opinion, but this is what I believe are the top 10 card tricks that every card magician should know.
Now, mind you, I don't do a whole lot of reactions while I'm watching stuff, but I absolutely do love Magicorthodoxy. It's one of my everyday, I click to watch, and if I see something I like I say, I go to this guy to get my reviews, so check him out. Ambitious card. So this can be the first one. Now, do we know the ambitious card routine? I'm gonna try to skip through some of these things because I don't want to just utilize his video here. I want to actually talk about the things, and I don't want to, I want to just get through it. So let's look at the ambitious card. Do I have an ambitious card routine? I do. Now, today we are going to be using the first playing cards. Why are we going to use the first playing cards? Because that's why. No, because there's a sponsorship possibility. And so we want to get as much first merch as we can on the screen. Now, I only have the two things, so it's kind of a back and forth. But let's take a look at my ambitious card routine. Here we go. We are going to select a card for you today, like so. I don't know why I keep saying that. But we're going to look at this card right here. It's a beautiful card. It is a beautiful card. Somewhere about the middle. Okay. Now, of course, at this point, you'd have the opportunity to tell me where, top or bottom. Of course, if you say, normally what I do is I say bottom because, of course, it's right there. And then we say, if we make it appear back at the top, then there it goes. So a little bit of an ambitious card routine for you there, just like that. We'll give the deck a nice little cut. Very well cut. And then I will give you the deck so that you can shuffle it so that you can know for a fact that it's truly lost, and while you're doing that, I just make it appear out of nowhere. So there's my rough, front camera here. You don't use the webcam very often, so hopefully that looks good. But that was my ambitious card. Basically, the premise for that, as I understand it, and I don't mean I don't understand it, I just mean as a magician who studies the magic theory behind it, David, not this David, my brother David, we have talked about the ambitious card routine and how at the crux of a lot of other tricks, there is this fundamental idea that it's an ambitious card. The idea, basically, you have a card, it's lost, you find it, there it goes. As, sorry. Problem plus some other stuff equals solution. If you know, you know. Here we go. Back into the video.
Number one is, of course, the ambitious card. Or
we just went through that.
The
Let's
elevator card. This is the magic effect where a playing card seems to century. Routine off
our next one.
VHS tape magic pool. The Triumph.
Triumph. Okay, so Triumph is very interesting because I actually just did it earlier. Okay, so I did a Triumph effect. There's a lot of different ways to do it. The way I do it is a simplified version, in my opinion, of it. But I am trying to learn the more advanced versions as well as different methods of how to do it. So the way that we typically do that, we select a card like so. Into the deck it will go, because that's where you got to put it back in there. You can't just pretend to take it out, right? But then what you've got going on here is you're going to mix up the deck. Some cards are going to be face up, some are going to be face down, just like so. Very nice. Now you've got something that looks like this. You've got front to back, back to front, and somewhere in there you even got some back to back, which I'm not even sure how that works. But when you snap your fingers, we are a magician, so we are going to make all the cards, except for one, come back to normal. And I hope that was your card, because I didn't even look. I didn't even know. So that's one of those things. If it goes wrong, whatever, just have a good time with it. But there is my Triumph trick. Here we go.
Card trick is a trick where the cards are shuffled in a very surprising way, half face up and half face down.
Wish I could remember his name.
With just a snap of the fingers, the magician makes all of the cards instantly face the right way again, except for the spectator's selected card.
I'm talking over David here, sorry. I like the idea of kind of like leading your spectator to believe that you're kind of like messing up, and then you can always bring it back when you wow them at the end. It's a nice concept. So
and although it's true that the most powerful from theater of this world.
Now.
And he had a version of the Triumph that he called Inverto. Card trick number 3, Out of This World. Out of This World is where the magician shows a deck of playing cards. The cards are mixed, and then next the cards are given to a group of spectators. Or
now I'm going to pause it right there. Out of This World is actually something that I have never looked into. So this is interesting. Out of This World is going to be on my list. But now we're 3 tricks in out of 10, and so far I've known 2 of them, and I have a pretty good grasp on those. And I've actually, if you saw the video I did today, there's actually going to be something else that's going to show up here. So I hope you really enjoy what I did with that. But I've really started to delve into like the magic theory, the idea, the concepts, and how to use it in different ways. And Out of This World is just something that I don't have access to.
Or a single spectator. And the magician tells the spectator to split the deck into red cards and black cards without looking at it. The spectator goes through the cards, makes 2 piles, and when the piles are flipped over, everyone gasps because the spectator had done exactly what the magician asked him to do. Out of This World is a classic effect that was invented by Paul Curry back in 1942. And many magicians have performed their own variations of this trick. It's been billed as the trick that fooled Winston Churchill, because amateur magician Harry Green apparently fooled him with it. Card magic trick.
So just looking at what he was doing there, it almost looks very similar to the messy deck trick that I just did for the Triumph. So in reality, I may have got that mixed up. So the messy deck trick might be Out of This World, and Triumph is the one that I'm still working on. I know how to do it, but I haven't got the the machinations, the mechanics down yet. But I'm working on Triumph. So the messy deck trick might be out of this world. I will, to be continued on that one. Maybe that's what it is. Okay, twisting the aces. Absolutely wonderful packet trick idea here. Something that's really great. I considered doing this one today as part of the trick, because what I'm doing is with my card reviews, I upload a trick, and this is the one that I contemplated doing for the imposter, and it would have worked pretty well, I think. But I'm not as flushed. I'm not as flush. I'm not up to par on where I'd like to be with twisting the aces, but I do know it. So here we go.
Number 4, twisting the aces. In this trick, the magician begins by displaying the 4 aces. The rest of the deck is set aside. You don't even need it. It's a packet trick. And after showing all 4 aces facing down with a simple spin in his hands, the magician reveals that magic trick number 5, Dr. Daly's last.
So I skipped over. I try to perform the ones that I know, and in reality, what this tells me is, what do I feel comfortable with? Because I don't want to do something that I'm not like. I do the messy deck trick as part of my my routine as I go through my practice. Twisting the aces isn't something that I do, but I do have it set up in one of my bicycle decks. I do have a twisting the aces packet that I should probably have out on my desk so I can practice more often. So that's something that we should keep in mind. Dr. Daly's last trick. Let's go ahead and watch this one because I'm not 100% on it, so let's take a look.
Trick. In this effect, the magician places the 2 black aces in the spectator's hands. The magician then asks the spectator where the ace of spades is, and the spectator points to a card in their hand, turns it over, but it's the ace of diamonds. The spectator turns over the other card, and it's the ace of hearts, and the magician reveals that he is holding the 2 black aces. During the last months of Dr. Daly's life, he worked on this card trick, which he demonstrated for Di Vernon. Di Vernon included this trick in his book, The Di Vernon Book of Magic, from 1957. Card trick number 6, the red hot.
Okay, so let's talk about Dr. Daly's last trick there. In reality, I do know it. I actually learned it as the 2-card Monty. So that's what it was called when I learned it. That doesn't mean it's right. That just means the internet. So yes, I am familiar with it. I actually learned it a little bit differently. I cannot really perform it adequately here for you because it is really, I love the idea of that. I love the idea of these tricks that incorporate the spectator. Anytime that you can involve them, and this is one of those tricks that you really want to have a spectator there if you want to perform it properly. And so I really love that idea because it can happen in their hands. Okay. So that is a trick that I do know how to do, but I can't necessarily perform it because I don't want to do it a disservice. Chicago opener. This is one that I included in my trick video earlier today. So if you want to take a look at that, go ahead and check that out. In reality, we are live, but I don't actually haven't really been here. Let me hold on a second. We're gonna go out of this for a second. We're going to go over to this live stream. We have no viewers are currently viewing. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming, as such viewers will experience buffering. I do apologize for that. I did forget that there is this delay thing to it. So let's see. Top chat. Nothing going on in the chat. Average watch time is 6 seconds because we are going probably pretty slow. It does look like, okay, so we're actually way back there. Okay. So now you're getting to this point in the video where you can see, and I haven't live streamed in a long time. I don't think it's going to work for my office because I'm too far away. So you guys are still back on twisting the aces. Let's come back in here. Now we're back to the Chicago opener. It's going to be all wonky, but we will get this live stream figured out because I do want to jump back into being able to communicate you directly with live streams and potentially doing some other great, fantastic stuff here on the channel. So Chicago opener, like I said, I did it earlier. The concept here, I don't really want to give it away. If you want to watch the video and see how that goes, you can go ahead and check that out. Let's go ahead and skip ahead here to, here we go, Gemini twins. Let's take a look because I don't quite remember this one.
Gemini twins. In this trick, 2 spectators are each given a card from the pack, and then each of them deals cards from the pack and stop wherever they want, and they mark that spot with the card that they were given.
Let's go ahead and pause that real quick here. This is something that I've learned from Fanit twice now. Not to say anything bad, but the first time he did it, he kind of did it as a, here's the idea. Maybe it was it him? I want to say it was him. But I've also learned stuff from other people as well. But he just uploaded recently, at the end of last year, he uploaded the Gemini twins as like, in terms of like the actual trick, I guess, not the actual trick, with a theme to it, basically. I love this routine, and here's why. I'll show you here, right here. So what I'm going to do is, this is a somewhat of a prediction trick. We're going to go through, and we're going to pick some cards. I don't like that one. No, because it's got to be a good prediction, right? So let's go with this one, and let's go with this one. Okay, so now these are my 2 prediction cards. Here are your cards right here. I don't actually know what you see. So let me take a look real quick here. We're going to tilt this down. There we go. We're going to bring in my puzzle box here. Tilt that down a little bit further. There we go. Okay. So now we're going to have some cards dealt out. And this is another great trick that you could actually help with. You could actually take off a whole pile of cards. You can do whatever you want here. That's perfectly fine. So we're going to look at my first prediction card. And that's going to be the 7 of diamonds. Of course, anytime that I'm doing anything with, the lucky 7's got to be involved. So again, if you want to do 2s, 3s, doesn't really matter. Just kind of go do whatever you feel like, but just be careful with that other card. Now we're going to put our 9 of spades there, close that down, and we can even give it a nice little cut. And of course, when we spread this out, see how I can do it here. We're going to spread this out. And you're going to see right there, there's my first prediction. And you're going to see the next prediction. My predictions are actually going to capture something. They're actually going to capture something. Look at the 7 of diamonds and the 9 of spades. They're actually going to capture the 9 of clubs and the 7 of hearts, because they're like mirror neurons, right? So they actually kind of have a bond with each other. So that is, if I'm remembering this trick correctly, let's take a look.
They leave it face up. When the deck is spread on the table, the 2 face-up cards are seen and then removed along with the face-down card that is next to theirs. And the 2 face-down cards that are next to theirs are revealed to be the mates, which means they have the same value and same color of the 2 face-up cards.
So there you have it, Gemini twins. Now, secret. Magic theory time, right? So here is what I have developed and I'm practicing, is how to modify that effect to enter in a bigger picture idea. And what I've come up with is that you can actually take out the other 2 pairs and you can stack the deck. You can use this trick to stack the deck. So while you're looking through and you're doing different cards and stuff, you can actually take out other cards, you can put them in certain places, make sure they're there, and practice what happens to the deck when you're doing that thing. Now keep in mind that people are dealing out cards and you're letting them know that they can deal out as much as they want, so you have to be very selective with what you're doing. And if you do it correctly, you could actually, like say in that instance, you had the 7s, the red 7s, and the black 9s. You could have actually taken the black 7s and the red 9s, and you could have had them stacked and ready to go. So as they're dealing out the cards, they kind of fall into place. And then you can say, what would you prefer, the 4 7s or the 4 9s? And you could produce all 4 almost instantaneously because you would have stacked it in such a way. So keep that in mind. That is a little tidbit of information that I'm working on, tweaking it here and there so that I could then go potentially into a 4-of-a-kind trick. So let's continue.
Now, Gemini twins is a all-time classic effect, especially for beginner magicians. Lady. We probably all know this trick, right? We know this premise, 3 cards.
3-card Monty, I kind of skipped there a little bit when I jumped ahead. 3-card Monty is a classic in Magic, and unfortunately, I only understand the basics of how a couple of different methods work. I think that I like there's a method with a gimmick, and I think there's a method without a gimmick. I'm not sure. I can't perform the 3-card Monty, which seems kind of like it's a big card trick in the Magic world, and I'm not there yet, I think is what, I mean, I am there, but I haven't actually got to that point where I'm learning it. But I do have the other ones, so there's that. So let's take a look at this. 3-card Monty, very classic.
2 cards that are similar and 1 indifferent card, and the object is to follow the indifferent card, and no matter how hard the spectator tries, they're never able to. Probably the most popular one is Michael Skinner's Ultimate Monty. It's a great trick for you to purchase if you don't have it. I would also look at Steppin' Out with Molly by Jack Carpenter. Greg Wilson has a great one called Flat Out Monty. Bob Sheets has another one called Killer Kitson Miracle. If you're a newbie to Magic and you've never done anything like this before, I would probably look at Color Monty. Otherwise, check out routines by Darwin Ortiz and Daryl.
So there's a whole list of people that you can check out. And because of the internet issues that I'm having, and I will correct these as we go along, go ahead and check out the actual video so that you'll be able to see this in real time, because we're kind of on a delayed time here. But let's jump ahead here. Okay, Torn and Restored. I actually have a Torn and Restored trick that I learned. It's a very basic thing, but it's not performance ready, and I like it. I don't think it's terrible. I do have access to Reformation. Right behind me on my shelf there, I have access to the book that has it. So potentially I will be doing torn and restored card tricks. Now, I've said this in the past, and I'll say it again, just so everybody knows as you're watching. Another little magic tidbit for you. You can buy an extra, which I haven't actually opened this one, and I'm not sure if I have. I think it's probably over there somewhere. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have it sitting right here. It's over there. This is a Pinochle deck, and it comes with, it's 48 cards, but it comes with 48 cards and 4 suits, ace through 9, with 2 of each card in a suit. So this deck is literally a preloaded 9 to ace double cards. Double cards, which means you can literally go through this entire pack, 48, so you cut that in half, and it gives you 24, and I did math in my head, so 24 cards, so that means you have 24 tricks for Torn and Restored, double tricks. It's a bicycle back, so you could pretty much mix that with your red pack and give you a whole selection, or we talked about twisting the aces earlier. Boom. You got yourself a nice pack of aces that you can just take right out of that. You can use it as a utility. You could use it as a higher number deck if you wanted to stack it in that, in a fashion where you're doing a magic trick. They don't know there's only 48 cards. They don't know there's 2 of each card. There's any number of things that you could do with that. So keep in mind that the Pinochle deck is a great pick if you don't have access to a lot of other cards and you want to be able to do a lot of utility stuff and make your own gimmicks. There's a great way to go. Okay, Torn and Restored card, like I said, the premise of that is you're basically tearing a card and you're putting it back together, as David will say. He'll say it.
This trick plays out exactly like it sounds.
And it's not, I did watch the video, obviously, because I watch his videos, but I wanted to bring this to your attention if you're getting into Magic, or if you're already into Magic, that these are some great effects. There are so many other tricks that you can do and you can learn, and I do a lot of them, but I would definitely recommend that you learn these 10, because if you learn these 10 and you can kind of combine them together, you're really going to be able to accentuate your ability to do Magic. So if you only learn these 10 tricks and you learn them well enough that you are perfect at doing them without any other problems, then you create your pattern, you work on your performance after that, you're going to be set. These might be the only 10 tricks that you'd ever need, and not necessarily because you don't need to learn other things, but these tricks can be done in multiple different ways. Like the Ambitious card has thousands of different ways that you could play that out, and you could just switch up your trick every time that you do it to kind of have a different ending, basically. So most of these tricks can do that. So keep that in mind, that there are other applications for these tricks. Okay, let's take a look here.
Any card is selected, or maybe forced, could be signed, some variations not signed, and it's torn in quarters or in a million pieces, and then and restored by Brent Braun is also another very, or the card to impossible.
Card to impossible location is a very interesting concept here. Once again, we're going to bring out the first playing cards, and we are going to, let's say, this particular deck is not. Let's just use this idea, which, as discussed. Okay, we're going to. Here we go. Let's see if we can do this. We'll just kind of stack it like this, just for the sake of the trick. We have a deck box here. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and mix up the cards. Make sure everything is. That was not a good cut, not at all. There we go. Give it one more cut here like that. Okay, now we're going to take the top card, which is Joker. Okay, we're going to lose it somewhere into the pack, like so. And this is a little bit of an ambitious card routine here because it kind of just pops right back to the top. That is kind of what you would expect from this type of trick, right? Okay, now if we shuffle the deck, I mean obviously it's not on top, it's not on the bottom. We can shuffle the deck. Let's make sure it wasn't one of those cards because, you know, things fall from time to time. It's okay, it'll happen. That's not one of them. Okay. And we can go through all those cards and, you know, no Joker there. That's okay. But if you remember, I kind of pointed out that there's a box here, and it's been here the whole time, mind you. And there it is. So, the idea, that's a very simplistic version of that. There's grander ways to do that. But that's the basic idea, is that you took it from one location and you made it teleport to a location that you didn't necessarily have access to. Obviously, you can guess what I did, and that's fine. But here's the interesting thing about that trick. Even though I just told you how it's done, I didn't actually tell you how it's done. And if you know why that is, let me know down below. Let me know if you understand why me doing what I just did doesn't actually tell you how it's done. So, there we go. I don't know where we're at. Let's check the live stream here. We are... Looks like we're still back with the Gemini twins, maybe? I don't know. Card to impossible location is a great effect. It's something I'm still working on, but it's definitely something that you're going to want in your repertoire. Repertoire? Yeah, that's right. Okay, I think that's the last one.
Location effect. And of course, this trick sounds exactly like its title. A card is selected, it's lost somewhere, and then it ends up miraculously inside the magician's wallet, or it ends up inside of an apple, an orange, a pumpkin, on the other side of a window. Really, that's what makes it impossible that uses a duplicate. You know, well, pretty definitive. If I were to make one degree by John Gustafaro, and I would highly recommend you check that one out as well. All right, what did you think? What did you think of this top 10? And
I thought it was absolutely wonderful. Thank you, David, for this video. You have so many other great videos on your channel. This is absolutely wonderful. I was glad that I could stop in today and chat with you. Let's see what else he's got to say.
Did I miss one? Were you looking forward to me mentioning a trick that I didn't mention? That's the great thing about the internet.
He's absolutely right. If you thought that there was something that he missed, go ahead and go check out his video and comment on that video, letting him know if there was a trick that you personally know that you think is a fundamental, like one of the top. I mean, guys, this is the best card trick. So there's a lot of card tricks that you might know that might not necessarily meet that standard of specification, best card trick that every magician should know. So there is that. So go ahead and check out David over at Magic Orthodoxy. Go ahead and join his membership for $1.99 if you can. It helps out the channel. He also has a lot of gear that is available. A lot of clothing. He has Magic Orthodoxy clothing. You can go check out his store. He has so many videos on reviews, whether that be cards or just gimmicks and props, and he has his membership section where he goes into a little bit more detail, and he does giveaways every single month. He's giving back to the community, so you need to go check him out, enjoy what he's got to offer, and remember, always remember, stay positive, stay active, and stay awesome, and we will see you in the next one.